Om Shivachidambaram. This is slightly different from my usual topics. I'm going back to the tarot. As some of you may know, I have written the first book on tarot ever published in India, and I have also created the first tarot deck based on Hindu itihasas and mythology, Hindu itihasa and Purana, the devatas in India. So that has been now around for a long time. I don't speak too much about it nowadays, but recently I got feedback from somebody who attended a workshop that I had done last year. I had done a basics on how to work with the Sacred India Tarot. That's what it is called. And this was his feedback. So I thought it was very useful for all those who are learning to work with the tarot, and especially for those who are working with the Sacred India Tarot. So here is it. The person happens to share my name, which is just a very nice coincidence, but okay. I am therefore reading out what Rohit has written to me. Advice on working with the Sacred India Tarot. I am extremely grateful to Sri Guru for transmitting this powerful means of accessing guidance to us, the Sacred India Tarot. I just thought I'd share things I've learned in the short time I've been in contact with the Sacred India Tarot. First point he makes is yes-no readings are extremely powerful. Now, the technique for getting a yes-no answer is you pull out a single card after you formulate the question. If it is an odd numbered card, it is a yes. If it is an even numbered card, it is a no. This has nothing to do with what is actually depicted on the card. It is just what is the number. Don't get into major arcana, minor arcana, whatever. Yes, no is very simply, that's how the yes, no is done. So he continues, they offer, yes, no readings are extremely powerful. They offer a clear, unambiguous answer to a question, and you can get a lot of information by looking at the bottom of the deck. Now again, what he is talking about is that when you have shuffled or taken out, and then there's the deck over there on the side, you pick that up and you look, and that card you can look at the meanings, because that becomes the basis for your energy picture at that moment. So that you can look at, it's fine. So you can get a lot of information by looking at the bottom of the deck. It is the best form of reading, in my opinion, for beginners like us. As you see, the interaction between the answer and the bottom card, the meaning of the bottom card becomes clearer. It is a great way to learn the meanings over time. I would concur. I would find that very important. Second, he suggests you journal your readings. It allows you to see long-term patterns. Sometimes the cards may seem to have seasons where they keep appearing. Oh dear God, don't get into that. Yeah. Also, the same card may appear for a similar situation that happened for a while ago. Again, correct. If you don't journal, you're going to miss the connection. When you journal, open up the guidebook and copy out verbatim the sentences that are most relevant to your context. The guidebook is provided. It is one of the most comprehensive guidebooks ever written on the subject of tarot, and I have written every single word in that guidebook, so you may trust it. So when you journal, open up the guidebook and copy out verbatim the sentences that are most relevant to your context. SGRA has described, SGRA means Sri Guru Rohit Arya, has described to us the extremely intense period in which he wrote down those words, and they are full of Shakti. Writing them helps us access some of that. Correct. I wrote that in a very powerful altered state of consciousness zone. I would get up every day at 3:30, make tea, sit down and write till 5:30 or 6, then actually go back and sleep again for an hour. And this I did for each and every card. Third point he makes is if you get an ambiguous answer to the yes, no, court card or blessing cards, leave it and don't pester the tarot for further clarity. Absolutely correct. Do not make that mistake of trying to force an answer. It may give you an answer after repeated tries, But remember what SGRA said about readings, how they can fix a future path from the different possibilities that could have happened. One of the downsides of looking to predict an outcome is that sometimes when a situation is in flux, there are multiple outcomes, and if you force it with some such methodology, then the only possible outcome now, or the only possible movement now for you, is this one path that has been revealed. That is not, from a spiritual point of view, an optimal situation. So he continues, the tarot might not give you a straight answer because the state of flux in the situation is good for you. In any case, such a reading still has tremendous value. Look at the card in the bottom of the deck and see what it says about your personality and situation. Very good advice always. You may uncover your subconscious tendency that led you to ask such a question in the first place, and that can be very valuable. I agree. I concur. The bigger the spread, the more time you should spend analyzing it. This is his fourth point. Don't go around drawing Celtic crosses for every simple thing. Absolutely true. The tarot is a very visual medium. My Sacred India Tarot deck is fabulously visual. It's very beautiful. The artist was Jane Addams. She is very spiritual herself, so there's a lot of spiritual attraction to it, and there's a lot of aesthetic attraction to it. But you don't need to overdo it just because it looks beautiful. These are deep and layered insights with multidimensional paths to evolution, so take your time. Reserve bigger spreads for problems that demand such an insight, and when you do decide to do one, analyze the hell out of it. Look at the elemental influences, how the energy seems to flow across the reading, common suits, etc. Elemental influences are earth, water, fire, air, or akasha. What is dominating at the moment? Is it the earth tattva, water tattva, air tattva? Those who know these things will understand why that is important. Because the earth tattva, for instance, is body and finances. The air tattva is intellectual. The fire tattva is creative. Things like that. Every card interacts with every other card in the reading. For a mathematically inclined, in a Celtic cross, you have 10C2 equal to 45 two-body different interactions to consider, and there's just 2 cards at a time. Consider all the n-body interactions, and the complexity is mind-boggling. This is some mathematical stuff. I was always mathematically feeble, so I don't understand what that means. Of course, with experience, one learns to quickly see not only the patterns that matter, but until we get to such a level, it's best to stick to simple draws most of the time. I agree. Simple spreads. 5. When you get a really good card like the Star, 4 of Wands, etc., spend some time with it. If you are doing your reading in your altar or your puja space, light a diya and meditate on the card. Feel the energy of the card and let it shower into your life. Soon you will understand how the tarot can. This is more for Hindus, because since we are working with devatas in the cards, that the devas can help you in a particular time. That kind of whatever the particular deva in the card is showing you, you can see. So this is advice more for Hindus than for others. Anybody can use it. Devas do not discriminate, unlike devas of certain other but let that be. Number 6, use the tarot to communicate with the devatas you worship. Best case used to me has been to do yes/no readings to find out what they like while making offerings or deciding whether or not to do a short anushthan. Now, I will frankly confess, I never thought of it that way. I never thought it could be used that way, but this is a very useful value addition. You can find out, use the yes/no reading to find out what do they like. Can I offer this? Can I not offer this? This substance, this material, this flower, this whatever bhog you wish to do, or deciding whether or not to do a short anushthan. That I agree with completely, because the reason why I created the Sacred India Tarot was that it would become an aid, a help on the sadhana upasana path. That for all those in spirituality it would become. So yes, that is a very good thing. But of course, when I started, it was not like that, because in one sense, I merged the tarot tradition with the Hindu sadhana tradition, so new things will automatically come out. There will be times when you go to the devata bruised and battered about something and ask them a question just for them to bless you with an incredibly wonderful card. Ultimately, you might get the death card, and then you just have to leave something, kill something in you to get out of the mud you're stuck in. Sometimes the devata you ask the question to will show up on the face of the card. What better blessing than that? Well, if the devata is found in the deck that I created, there are a few devatas who are not there. For instance, you won't find Dakshinamurti, though there is a meditating Shiva. You won't find Pratyangira, Varahi, you won't find Sarveshwara, you won't find Patanjali. You won't find Bhairava unless you look at the full card, the zero card, the wild card as Bhairava. I suppose it can be, though that is actually Rudra, not Bhairava, though they are analogous devas, they are very similar devas. Then seventh point he makes is, this is pretty obvious. When you ask the question to the tarot about what to do this in a situation and it gives you guidance, do the thing. Follow the advice it gives you, follow the guidance it gives you. Ignoring the guidance is disrespecting the tarot, and it's no less a blunder than breaking a sankalpa to a devata. Well, this person's been doing it for just a year, but they have started realizing the sheer power that is the tarot. Even if the answer seems ridiculous at the moment, do it. The force you are in contact with is far greater than what your limited mind can comprehend, and it knows better. If you're not sure you have the spine to follow through on any answer, then don't ask the question. That last sentence should be framed in gold. That is always true. Many times I have seen that people come to me for readings and they are not prepared for the answers to their questions. So that is a psychological issue. We have to deal with it. So I hope this is useful. I've been meaning to write for this for a while. And he said, I'd like to hear any experience, any tips. Okay. Koti pranams to Sri Guru for bringing the Sacred India Tarot to my life. You're most welcome. All of you are most welcome. It took 12 years out of my life to manifest it and bring it to the world. From the time we had the original idea to the time the first deck was in our hands and then we started. So, it has been a tapasya. Literally, it has been a tapasya. I can assure you it was not easy for me, and if anybody asks me would I do a thing like that again, the answer is hell no. It was something that needed to be done. I was the only person who could do it, so it was done through me. I regard myself merely as a hollow bamboo, a medium through which the jnana, the wisdom, the viveka, whatever you wish to call it, of that Sacred India Tarot space that could flow through me, and so that it has been proving to be so useful, and now people are taking it forward, which is the best thing. When people start using it and they discover and they get their own insights and then they take it forward, that is actually how a parampara stays alive. That is how a tradition stays alive. That is how it remains a living tradition. So this is a very wonderful development. It is one of the best feedbacks I've ever got, because it was a practical feedback. You see, most people don't give practical feedback on how they use the deck. They ask me questions about what happened, what the answer came. They want to clarify doubts, but they don't tell me how they use the deck and what the experience of using the deck has been. So this is almost unique. It's not like he's the only person, but it's almost unique. I get a feedback like this maybe once in 5-6 years. So it has been most helpful, and I am 100% sure it will be most helpful to everybody else. So this is not me per se, it is somebody else, but I thought it was valuable, so I am sharing it for all of you. Thank you very much. Sarvam Shivam.